Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Cafe Enchante, and we're just maybe finishing chapter 8 today? I don't know, we'll see. We have no more choices left to make, and we've just battled the skeletons out of the sky, so, I mean, so anyway, with the giant arm now gone, the cracks in the sky vanished without a trace, as if all of what just happened never did. Yay, we saved the island for the coup day. Is it over? It all ended as soon as it started. Looking around, although the ground was fairly broken up because of the fight, what also remained was the usual veil of night, with nothing strange to it at all. The usual Amasaki Island. The sea, casting its waves, a familiar calm to their rhythms. Hey, Miza... It just didn't feel real to me. As I pulled on his sleeve beside me without thinking. Huh? Whoa! Did he fall over? Oh, this is so cute. We fell into his arms. I like this CG. CGs with Miser are great. I love him. Wow. It's been a long time since I've used magic like that. I'm tired. I knew this was real by the sound of the demon lord laughing on the floor and embracing me. Yeah, he likes to embrace me a lot, and I'm okay with this. Oh, he's so pretty. Spacey, are you hurt? Not at all. Actually, I'm more worried about you. This is like some of the CGs is like, this is beautiful and romantic. Just like when frickin' Canis was like, touch my invisible face, and you're like, it's a little romantic-y for common route, but okay. Oh, well, it's just a little fatigue, really. I'll make a complete recovery once I try that new coffee blend of yours. Hey, that's a really easy recovery. Too easy, even if it was in a video game. This game is calling us out so much. Well, I've got to make sure to give it my all to make it especially delicious. It'll be a cup of coffee so satisfying that he'll shout for joy when he tries it. Good work, Mr. Demon Lord. When we get back to Enchante, you just take a nice rest over some great coffee. Thanks. You make sure you don't push yourself, though, my cute little owner. You did just get thrown into the middle of a raging battle between humans and non-humans after being transported here randomly. Yeah, I think I've had enough excitement tonight to last me a lifetime. Probably enough for my next life, too. Oh, that explains why my life is so boring. It's exciting in the bad ways. I want it to be exciting. Actually, I don't want. I want a boring life. I don't want the shit excitement. Like, it's so exciting chasing mice through my apartment. I don't want that kind of excitement. Or like, it's always bad excitement. You're like, oh yeah, no. Just boring, nonchalant, no excitement at all. Because it's not. I mean, this wasn't great excitement either, but... He laughed at my comment, but it seemed like he was dialed in on what I said. Miser X, too. The coffee-loving demon king known by all. He knows much about coffee and is also skilled at brewing it. It seems he has met the heroine once before and is proactive in helping her. He visits the shop every day, but due to his work as a demon king, he generally visits during the night. I think he generally doesn't visit because he goes back home at night. You know what I mean? While everyone else stays there, he goes home. That could also be, like, everyone else can, like, stick around. Maybe he can't. And it's not just his, my job, so, I don't know. We'll find out. It might be a bit early to say that. Huh? Again, he gives his usual kind smile. I definitely hate to get into a situation like that again. But Spacey, as long as you're the owner to Enchante, these strange and sprightly days will simply continue, he whispers. Oh. I love him so much. He's gonna break my heart. The game is gonna break my heart. Afterwards, it was confirmed that every single one of the Spartoi were eliminated from Amasaki Island. The GPM higher-ups also acknowledged the anomaly was dealt with and closed the case. The plan to destroy Amasaki was also cut. The defense forces withdrew, having no idea what had happened. We never understood what caused the wormhole or what that arm was exactly. They say the GPM will be looking into that. The Kure were also able to finally reunite, with the threat now gone. Giving their thanks again and again, they saw us off as we left the island. That's right, the one that was near us during the battle. It mentioned it didn't come out right away, wanting to make sure Miser and I had a little bit of space.
It's like, oh, I saw you cuddling. I didn't want to disturb you.
Also, about the attack Miser launched that the GPM higher-ups consider to be one of the threats. Miser's now in jail. I'm just kidding. What? Well, but hey, that was some crazy wormhole, am I right? Wow, it's so scary to think there's something that can make a Spartoid capable of such an insanely strong power. Miser decided to blame it on the Spartoi. Deflected the issue, and it was considered resolved in any case. I mean, otherwise, if he said it was him, you know what I mean? He was like, I don't want to be fucking put in a cage and have fucking Mikado fucking animal testing on me. I mean, seriously. Afterwards, on the boat ride back, I called my parents. I was able to confirm that they were safe, as the Spartoi had never come to shore. It seemed no tragedies occurred, and the regulars and I decided to return by rail back to Tokyo. Oof. Without warning, my eyelids slowly opened. It seemed like as soon as I got back, I fell right to sleep. I look at the time, and we were approaching the time today would change into tomorrow. The time today would change into tomorrow. Sorry. Seriously? Today was a roller coaster ride. Koroto looked like he was sleeping so comfortably. I gaze at him as I think back on the events of today. I went out to the shopping district. I was flung away through the gate. I saw a giant non-human at Amasaki Island. Then everyone from Enchante handled it. That's putting it mildly. That's like glossing over so much. All of that happened in the few hours between the afternoon today and now, on the verge of the next day. In a matter of hours, that's a lot, you know? My regulars here really are some amazing people. I woke up. Maybe I'll have some warm milk and try to go back to sleep. Being careful not to wake Koroto up and quietly step down into the cafe. Well, it's like, being careful not to wake Koroto up and quietly step down to the cafe. It's an odd sentence, you know what I mean? Huh? Considering how late it was, I didn't think anyone else would be here, but I heard a noise, and the lights are all fucking on. I wandered outside, wondering who was out here, to find Canis looking up at the moon and the mist hanging in the air. It's funny because we came out here and you're like, okay, if we're in the garden, my first assumption was Canis. We're also heading toward his route, but I wonder if this changes too. Because we're not, we would have to be like, woo, chapter 1 for Canis. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm curious. I mean, we'll find out. Canis, is something wrong? When I call out to him, Canis slowly swings his large frame around. Ah, it's you. No, nothing. I'm not here for any particular reason. I just came out here to enjoy the cool air. I see. I woke up right now. Can I join you? I do not mind, though you will be accompanying a man of only few words. You know I don't care. We'll just hold hands and stare at the stars. It'll be fine. With his permission, I stand along with Canis, looking up at the night sky. The flowers blooming in the garden seemed to welcome me as they were swaying in the breeze. It's nice out tonight, and the sky looks so peaceful. You'd never imagine the events today actually happened. Yeah. With Canis's words, I gave a sigh of relief, finally feeling like regular, peaceful days here had returned. However, I am sorry. Huh? I was taken aback by Canis, who suddenly lowered his head apologetically. What did he mean by his apology? What's the matter, Canis? I can't think of anything that you'd need to apologize to me for. Though you might not, I do. When you were pulled into the gate, I hadn't even realized there was something strange happening. But even though we were able to reunite safely this time, if something would have happened to you, I would never be able to face Solon again. That was a mysterious circumstance that no one could explain. It couldn't be helped that Canis and Ignis didn't notice. He had no need to apologize. Though, I thought that might be insensitive. If Canis was still worried about me... I thought that might be insensitive if Canis was still worried about me. Whatever. In that case, thanks for worrying about me. I'll be careful moving forward, too. And if anything like this happens again, I'll do my best. Wow. I'll do my best and ask for help from you and the others. Yes, on the nights I rest here, I will be on my highest guard. So this never happens again. I will protect you no matter what. Okay, thank you. Even though he's in his normal clothes and in his headless state right now, looking at how bravely he fought at Amasaki Island, thought of how well what he just said fit him. I asked this reliable knight for his help with a smile on my face. And I wonder, because you know what I mean, like, that would be the perfect segue into your romance partner's chapter, is that whoever shows up there is kind of like, oh, that's the person whose route you're heading toward. You know what I mean? It seems perfect for whoever's path you're in. So, like, say when we go down Ignis's route, Ignis shows up there. I'll protect you. I'll keep you safe. Oh, okay. And then you end up in his route. You know what I mean? No matter what strange things happen in the world, the morning will always find its way to greet us the next day. Until the day it doesn't. To provide hospitality in those mornings and the day to inevitably follow is my duty. Yes, for those who are human and those who aren't. Literally feels like the end of the game, doesn't it? Like, just the way it's like, for those who are human and those who are not. It sounds like it's summing up the game. Like, it's such a summary. Hello, welcome to Cafe Enchante. No matter who my guest is, I'll always greet them with a kind smile. Where memories and the aroma of coffee fill the room in this strange and sprightly cafe. It totally does sound like we're summing it up. I mean, it would make sense if we're summing up the common route. If this is the end of the common route, yeah, okay. That's totally the summation of that. Like, you could tell. It's like, so we made it into Candace's route. Yay, good for us! I followed the guide. I am, like I said, curious to see who shows up that night, because I think it might be whoever's route you're heading into. It might be like, oh, okay. No! Help! I mean, that seems like, that's Canis's, like, swing arc, but I mean, it's weird. Yeah! But it's concerning, all the same. You know what I mean? The pale hand of death knocks on the door, all equal when it calls. Which, okay, he is the fairy of death, so. Be it the impoverished living in a shed, or the king living in a palace, and both sinful fairies and innocent fairies, with not a single discrimination. I mean, that is his job. So I wonder if, like, because they said they're immortal, but maybe they are supposed to die at some point. Like, oh, nope, it's your time. Even though you're immortal, immortal doesn't mean you're never going to die. It means you're not, like, you know what I mean, I guess? I mean, we technically think of, like, immortal, never going to die. But, like, oh, vampires are immortal. They will die at some point if someone stabs a stake through their heart. You know? And who knows that? Death? Death knows, oh, it's coming for you, TikTok, motherfucker. Like, so in a way, then there's no such thing as immortal, because I guess it's just life expectancy is, like, immeasurable? Anyway, it is over. It is truly over. Canis uttered to himself as he looked up at Yggdrasil, the world tree. It can't be helped. This was the best decision. Those who witnessed this tragedy would all agree. However, was this our only option? I can't help but be disturbed by it. Even if this was the right answer, this sin will never be forgiven. This spirit must never be lost. A raw sensation remains in his palms. Curious. the final gasp of the fairies that have been seared into his memory. However, because they are fairies, their death leaves nothing behind. They simply disappear. That's right. Not a single proof of one's sins are left behind. Not a single one. A gentle autumn breeze blows, not discriminating what it runs into as it traces above the fire. The reason why I was born a headless knight, perhaps, is for times like this. Because I don't have a face. These tears and this sorrowful face will go unnoticed. This is obviously something from his past. Maybe they did something wrong and the queen was like, axe them. They went against the laws. I don't know. We'll never know. Well, we will. I'm sure they'll explain it. Oh, his room is filled with plants. It's like a sim house. Are we? I guess we are, because it's blue on the Enchante corner thing there, and ours is normally like a burgundy kind of color. I slowly regained consciousness. It was awfully vivid. For a dream. So much so that awful feeling is still in these palms. I wonder why I dreamt of that day. Perhaps I am being punished, as I could never forget that tragic day. And with those thoughts, just as I tried to awaken from my drowsiness and wipe the sleep from my eyes, but you don't have eyes. Technically, I guess he does. Canis, are you really sleeping? Are we just like leaning over him? I am speechless. For some reason, Spacey's face is in front of mine, or where it should be. Very close in front of mine, in fact. Daydreaming, perhaps? If you're going to sleep on the chair, you might as well sleep in the bed. He was sleeping with his arms crossed. I feel like that's such a Canis thing to do. You're like, not surprised. Why is Spacey in my room? Oh, wait. I think I have been hearing someone lately knock for about a minute now. I will be grateful if she came to check on me out of concern, but... Hello? While calling for me with a light voice, Spacey waves her hand in front of my face. She is too close. This is actually... Okay, I like this because it's normally the reverse roles. Oh my god, he's in front of my face and I'm so embarrassed. He's the embarrassed one, and we're like, hello, tap, tap, tap. We'd be like, literally like, are you awake? I'd open your eyes myself if I knew where they were. And she's like, no boundaries. It's cute. So close that I hesitate to speak up. Then, Spacey tilts her head at my lack of a response. What should I do? Did he really forget about our promise to replant the flowers today? Good thing I don't have a face. Or perhaps it is a misfortune. It seems that she does not realize that I am fully awake. It is not like I have any reason to pretend to be asleep. You just like us being all up in your face. It's so cute. How are we going to kiss this man? How are we going to get a kiss, CG? I'm just curious how that works. However, I hesitate to casually say good morning at such close proximity. If only she would take a few steps back. But I suppose I am not that lucky. Rather than stepping away, she came even closer and curiously peeked at my face. It's rare to see Canis napping like this. Of course, then when you're like, get too close, now he's embarrassed, we know he's awake. Since I can't see his face, I can't be sure he's actually sleeping. I wonder what a sleeping face looks like. Perhaps this too is a side effect of my facelessness. She continues to observe my face from all angles, in detail, without considering my personal space. Again, usually how the boys act toward us. Personal space, buddy, back it the fuck on up. We're the one with lack of personal space. I like it. It's fucking cute. He's dead asleep. Just as always, Canis is still sleeping like a rock. I'd love to leave him alone in his peaceful sleep, but I'm planning to go shopping today, and if I can, I want to finish replanting the flowers by sundown. After some thought, I've made up my mind. Try poking his cheeks. Just right through his head. Oh god, alright, this is, he won't respond to my voice. Just to double check, I wave my palm in front of his face to confirm that he is sleeping. Then, poke! Using my soft voice as a trigger, I reach my finger to poke Kenneth's cheek. Where you think it is. Or so I thought. But as expected, my fingers simply touched the air where his face should be. So it's not even like, oh, I can feel your cheek, or like, if he kisses you, you can feel anything. You're not going to feel anything. You may be surprised to hear that I am referred to as the Headless Knight, but in reality, it is just invisible. My head does in fact exist. Right here. My eyes, ears, nose. To see them or touch them is not possible, but it does in fact exist here. I now remember Canis mentioning this previously. He was like, but we can't touch him, but then does he get this weird thing like, your finger is in my face now? Like, literally? And now, I once again try to reach for it, but the outcome was obvious. My hand touches nothing, only going back and forth through his head. That has got to be weird for him. Without so much as a physical sensation, I began to slightly doubt if his head really does exist. It does feel a bit warm, though. I guess it's just not visible in the slightest. Anyway, he's just sitting there this whole time like, the fuck? At least we can't see his facial expressions. I still have work to do. I'll need him to wake up regardless. Alright, at this point, I'll just shake him. As I place my hand on Candace's shoulders. He's got it's a giant... Wait. Do they share a room? It's got like sliding panels between them. At first I thought it was a mirror, and then I was like, no, it's different, but like, why would you share a room? I guess there's just sliding panels. Oh, hey Karya. It's odd to see you upstairs. What's wrong? Nothing. We received an order for coffee, so I just came to call you over. After explaining himself, Karya continued with slight reluctance. Can you guys save the flirting for when the store closes? I'm not flirting! Triggered by Karya's remarks, I quickly distanced myself from Canis. But it is true that from his perspective, we were physically very close. I can understand why he thought that. Canis thought that too. Well, since Canis was sleeping, I just came to wake him up and... We promised to replant the flowers today. I point to Canis with my gaze. Canis, he just won't wake up. Karya immediately responds. Huh? What are you talking about? Canis is wide awake. How Canis's reaction was just question marks and exclamation points. He's like, What? What? As Karya points it out with squinty eyes, the brave knight, who was napping, pretending to be asleep, suddenly got up, making a grandiose noise. A few minutes later, that's actually really fucking funny, and I appreciate the shit out of that. Like, because nobody else, everybody else could, I am pretending to be asleep. You know, and you've had, like, boyfriendos pretend to be asleep, but they always got their eyes closed, or they're like, let me peek at you. But, like, he's literally sitting there probably wide-eyed, like, the fuck do I do? Like, you can imagine the looks on his invisible face. And he's just like, what? Not moving. You just don't know that he's awake. It's so funny. It's so much funnier with a headless boyfriend. I don't know. Anyway, a few minutes later,
I will now read the charges. And the defendant, Canis Espada, soiled his agreement with the plaintiff, lured her into his room, and observed the plaintiff for a lengthy period of time while she assumed that he was asleep.
I see. So the defendant, Canis Espada, was savoring the moment, staring at the plaintiff's innocent face. It is a misunderstanding. I am not such a degenerate, do you hear? A warning to the defendant. Please do not speak out of turn. And next we have Attorney Ignis. I courtroom drama. Oh my god, this is so absurd. Give him the worst penalty, will ya? Are you not supposed to be my lawyer? Is this some sort of comedy sketch? As the owner, you can stop this, right? Well, this is just the usual. Why don't we just let them continue? Cue! An amateur court session takes place inside. I mean, we got nothing better to do. We might as well have some fun and play a little. This is fun. Karya and Rindo were there, listening to them with me. Don't you just wish that, like, fun shit like this like you were like, okay, we will have a fit. Order in the court! Like, no adult is fun like this. I want fun adults like this. Anyway. I thought surely he was asleep, which is why I was looking at him so closely, but I didn't think that he was watching the whole time. Ugh! The thought of it is so embarrassing. So with that, I decided to change the subject and switch gears. By the way, Karya, I never really talked to you about this, but can you really see Candace's face? Remember when you came upstairs earlier, you knew right away that Candace was awake. So I thought that maybe Candace's expressions in his face were visible to you. Oh, that? It's not like it's clearly visible to me. I've just been able to see it subtle movement since I started going to Medio. It's almost like having bad eyesight and spotting someone 30 meters away or something like that. So it's like, I'm aware it's there, but I can't see all the details of it. I can only vaguely make out his expressions and whatnot. Actually, I thought that was the case for everybody, but I guess not. Yeah, at least for me, I can't see anything at all. Mr. Rindo nodded in agreement. Everything is invisible to me too. Not even a single contour. Whoa! I wonder why I'm the only one. I'm pretty sure that's because you possess qualities of a fairy? That's right. Whoa! Candace? It seems the faux court hearing ended without us realizing. I look over to see the others hanging around as usual. Oh man, I wanted to see what happened. Did we throw the book at him? I imagine that Il would quite literally throw the book at him. About what Karya said earlier. Perhaps because his lineage is from Medio, he can detect my face. I see. That would mean a fairy who lives in Medio can see Candace's face clearly? Not exactly. Being born in the same fairy world does not guarantee the ability to see my face. For example, my face looks completely pitch black for Titania, apparently. On the other hand, Venia can vaguely make out the contour of my face, like the haze from a flame. So they say. Hence, if Karya can make out my facial expressions, it must mean he and I are compatible. So, that's weird. Candace's face. Anyone with the power of fairies can perceive Candace's face, albeit faintly. So I guess, with Venia, it's kind of like, it's like ghost face. It's like, it kind of looks like flame, like I can see a face. Like, if you were watching a fire and you're like, look, it's like a rabbit, you could see a face maybe in the flames. It's kind of the impression I'm getting. The first thought that comes to mind. Just as an example, would I ever be able to see your face? Is that even possible? You, Spacey? Up until now, you had never expressed concern about not being able to see my face. Why are you concerned all of a sudden? It's going to be really hard to kiss somebody with no face, that's all I'm saying. Oh, I mean, look at what just happened. Not being able to see your face is what got us into this mess, right? So, if I were able to see your expressions, maybe we could avoid this in the future. I see. You have a point. Yeah, but it's difficult even for another fairy. Do you have any idea for a workaround? Well, I mean... Magic. Creativity? Could we, splash paint on his face? How about... I repeat to myself as I cross my arms in contemplation. Then a great idea comes to mind. We can't feel his face to put, makeup on. Oh, I know! What if Karya drew a sketch of Candace's face? Uh-huh. Cute! Oh, that's a great idea. It is true that Karya is able to make out Candace's face, albeit vaguely. Karya's like, yeah, but I can't fucking draw. Stick man with a smiley face. Right? Can you do that, Karya? Oh, well, what's wrong? I'd love to draw for you, but I mean, there's no sketchbook around here, so... Oh! Psh, whips out a sketchbook from my pant pocket. Oh, in that case, why don't you use this notepad and pen? Once he takes the notepad and pen from me, Karya's expression quickly turns stoic. I can't wait to see this drawing. It's either going to be glorious, like, oh my god, you're really good at drawing, or it's going to be terrible, which is going to be fun. Kind of hope it's terrible.
It sounds like you're having fun over here.
Il and the others joined in anticipation for Karya's drawing. Fine, I'll draw, but you better not complain how it turns out. Karya, still looking stoic, starts sketching. Please God, I need a CG of this fucking drawing. 10 minutes later... There, I'm done. Let's take a look here. Let's see... The crowd gathered around Karya's sketch with their interest piqued. It's worse than I imagined, and I love it so much. It took 10 minutes to draw, which should have taken you like 13 seconds. Oh god, this is gloriously This is everything I hoped for, though. I was like, I really hope it's terrible. Like, and not like, oh wow, that looks beautiful. I really wanted it to be god-awful, and this is adorably god-awful. I love it so much. Oh my god. I want to hang that on my wall. Oh my god. Canis. He's pulling your leg, right? Sorry. I'm not good at drawing. Oh, is that so? I was beginning to worry I actually look like that. It's true, Canis has never seen his own face either. Oh my god, we need a fan disc of this because I need to see Canis's face and I want him to be like, oh, I'm beautiful. I want him to see his own face. And just like that, Karya's lack of artistic talent was revealed. Il's comment,
He looks like some sort of creature, right?
left an everlasting impression on me. He looks like some sort of creature.
He's a monster. Canis, I didn't know you were a monster.
Everyone else tried their own hand at drawing his face, but Canis's face remains a mystery to us all. Well, no one else can see his face, so... At some point, dusk had fallen, which meant it was time for Karya to go home. In the end, with Ignis's final remarks, I'm over this, and I'm hungry, this case was temporarily closed. On the same day, after supper, while I was cleaning the kitchen... Spacey, is there anything I can help you with? He politely asks as he came to check on me. Oh, I'm done with most of the cleaning. All that's left is putting it all away. I'm okay, thank you. I see. I guess I should have asked earlier. He's like perfect timing. Without much else to do, Canis begins to look at his surroundings. And as I wipe the wet dishes in hand... Oh, sorry about what happened earlier, Canis. I had no idea staring at your face while you slept would turn into a whole thing. After expressing my regrets, Canis responds awkwardly. Oh, he's embarrassed. Yeah, there was no need to apologize. That was all my fault. I was the one who pretended to be asleep. Canis slowly nods as if to acknowledge his embarrassment, or so I thought. About that, why were you pretending to be asleep in the first place? It's embarrassing to think back on it, but I don't want to leave this strange feeling unresolved. So I decided to ask. Well, that's... I froze up and could not say anything. Watching you show interest in me and smiling at me. And if I had said anything that would have ended, I did not want that. Then Canis clears his throat. In other words, simply put, I wanted to look at your face for as long as I could get away with it. He just comes right out. That's so adorable. He's like, I liked staring at you. He was like, it was awkward and I didn't know what to do. And like, he was like, I just liked being close to you, even if it was awkward. How fucking cute. I have a feeling because there's only 4 chapters in his route that the romance, from this point forward, it's going to be like a rush job. You know what I mean? Because I feel like, okay, maybe, like, you're supposed to get the impression, I guess the way you're supposed to think of it is, through those first 8 chapters, we've been spending months, so that his feelings would naturally kind of have formed over those few months. But it's just, most routes have a little bit, and then you have longer, and there, it's like, I just feel like there's so much with everybody else, and you're going around, and she never really shows an interest, and all of a sudden, now we're in love. Oh, okay. Wow, that was fast. Which is fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with that because it's an Otome game. I'm not looking for a ton of realism. The guy doesn't have a fucking head, okay? I'm not looking for a ton of realism here. But it is a little odd. You're like, oh, this is going to be fast. But again, she's never kind of shown interest, and there wasn't a lot of, like, I guess there were a little bit, like, him like, here, touch my face, when you're like, that's kind of cute and romantic. And we had that romantic moment with Miser on the beach earlier. You're like, oh, okay. You're like, it's kind of a little, but it's, I guess, not really super supposed to be, because, like, they're not all angrily fighting over you, you know, but I guess we're supposed to look at it like, we've been here for months, so for months he's kind of been forming these feelings for us. But it's going to be weird for us because we're going to be like, oh yeah, I love you too. Wait, what? When'd that happen? Again, don't care, but it's going to be a rush job. We only got 4 chapters. They could each take 4 hours to do, especially the way I do this, but anyway. Oh, so that's what it was. Wow. Oh my god, I can't read. Right. No mistake about it. I simply wanted to see your face. What is this feeling? Now that he's being honest with me, I'm embarrassed in a completely new way. Here we are blushing a little, it's cute. While dealing with my embarrassment, however, I still do not believe that seeing my face would have any meaning. He contradicts himself from this afternoon. While still contemplating about it, Canis sounds like he was against the idea. I wonder if when they drew Canis, they actually drew him with like a head, and they drew his pretty face, whatever, and then drew everything, and then just like kind of erased the face. You know what I mean? Because like, for me, when I used to draw, I couldn't do it now, and I would literally look like something Karia drew, okay? Seriously. I would have to start with the head, because there's no way I could draw like a body and then draw a head, because it would look awkward. I'd have to start with the head, so I'm gonna, like, it makes me wonder if he actually had one to start. Perhaps because he was born this way, he never felt unusual for being faceless, or saw the importance in seeing one's face. I think there is meaning in it. Oh? As I go on to explain, the answer that I came to for myself, he reacted as if he was caught off guard. You see, the cafe won't run without customers, right? When I look at their faces, I can kind of learn a bit about them. Like whether they had a good day or not, or maybe they look really tired. And depending on what I see, my coffee and menu recommendations change accordingly. Usually, if the customer doesn't have a preference, I will select something that suits the moment. But I can't do that with you. Plus, if you were to be in distress or crying, it'd be terrible if I can't notice that just because I can't see your face. Oh, he's thinking of that moment. Oh. That badly? Do you want to see my face that badly? Even if I did not want to be seen? Well, of course I wouldn't force you if you didn't want to. But if you ask me whether I want to see it or not, the answer is most definitely, I'm curious. The answer is most definitely, I'm curious. Okay, read that better. Like I said earlier, you are, to Café Enchante, and to me as well, a valued customer. I see. I appreciate the sentiment. I found that to be very flattering. He's like so straightforward and just says, that is very flattering. Okay. However, it is virtually impossible for you to see my face. I am a fairy and you are a human. Our differences are vast, numerous, and quite obvious. Yeah, you're right. Then you just gave me all the reasons why our relationship isn't gonna work. Like, are you trying to ruin this before we get started, buddy? human and non-human. It is unmistakably true that we're two different beings, but the distance between them is isolating. However, I promise I will do my best, going forward, to vocalize what is in my heart. When I am in pain, I will tell you, and when I am having fun, I will tell you. I want to tell you, using this voice. Would that not suffice? Candace's gentle words seem to comfort me. In response to his suggestion, I tell him, yes, that would be fine, thank you. That was rather simplistic of me. I feel satisfied, so I put on a smile. Yeah, you were staring at my face, and you don't understand why I want to stare at your... I enjoyed staring at your face, and I want to enjoy staring at yours, but you don't have one. Come on. A few days later, Enchante's scheduled day off. I, along with Canis and Karia, and Kororo too, are visiting the fairy world of Medio. Today we're having our regular tea party with Titania. We're also here to get Karia back in good health. While minding the souvenir I had put in my bag, I briskly walk through the filtered sunlight coming through the trees. You seem to be in a good mood. Cute! Karia, holding Kororo in his arms, asks, guess what? Instead of making coffee today, I found some good tea leaves for black tea. You right? Which one of you's coughing? Did you drink your water too fast? I can hear you over there. She's okay? How you doing? Did you drink water too fast? Go down the wrong pipe? Get in your lungs? It's okay, you're not drowning. You'll be fine. You'll be fine, but I worry about you. It's okay. Hi. Yeah, he's a good birdie. Alright? I worry when you have sneezing fits or coughing fits. Makes me worry about your little lungs. You look okay? Alright, be safe, buddy. Anyway, leaves for black tea. Black tea! As Enchante mainly focuses on coffee, this is not very well known, but tea is also a fine menu item there. Ah, red tea. I order it on occasion. Yep, Enchante's menu mainly consists of coffee, but Titania mentioned during our last tea party that she loves the fragrance of fruits. I'm not an expert, but I tried my hand at making an original blend. Sounds good. I can't wait to try it. I love when the seal blushes! I sure hope that you'll all like it. Yes, I think Titania and the others will like it. Fairy tea party. We walk a little farther, and as we near the center of the Yggdrasil, now that we have come this far, we won't have to worry about getting lost. Yeah, we'll be okay. Karia nods along in agreement. As usual, I have personal matters to manage, so I must excuse myself. I will be back before sundown, and please be ready to go home by the time I get back. Gotcha! After seeing Candace off, I like her as a creak, creak as he walks away. The rest of us head over to the Nexus. And once we peek into the vast Nexus... Venia, you splendid bastard. I love them so much. Hey! This is Spacey! I've been waiting for you for ages! Hello. I don't necessarily want you here, but I'll do my best to welcome you. One's in good spirits, the other not so much. The polarizing welcome party made me smile. I want to date Venia so hard. Venia is such a fucking asshole. You know I like the assholes! Venia is such a fucking ass. Like, Venia, pushes the limits. But I just feel like would be, such a fucking butterball on the inside. You know what I mean? Good afternoon, Titania, Venia. Thank you for having us today. And same goes for me, too. Thanks. Fucking can't stand it when fucking Kororo is on the screen. He's too cute. It hurts me. I just want to scream. I just want to squeak. He's so cute. And I want to squish him. I want a uniseal now. The main purpose of this tea party is to talk with Titania. Unlike common tea parties on a table, we lay down a sheet near the throne and make things as intimate as possible. We share what's going on in our own lives, share the latest fads and concerns of our respective worlds. Venia, who's usually cold, has been warming up to us lately. They don't immediately leave the conversation, and they now actively engage with us, participating in a dialogue.
Oh, look at this here,
Nia? She calls Venia Nia. Oh, cute.
It seems the human realm, there's a thing called vacation, where their outfits change with the seasons. See, Spacey brought this, a fashion magazine. Take a look. Aren't there so many different styles?
It is quite lovely, especially this one with floral patterns. Titania expressed interest in the clothing of the human world during our last tea party, so I brought over a fashion magazine that was lying around in my bedroom. It looks like they're enjoying it. I've been thinking, doesn't Venia sound awfully nice when they're talking to Titania? He said in a whisper. Karia looks toward the two of them, laughing with one another. You're right. I guess there's a level of trust or something like that. Considering Titania calls Venia by their nickname, Nia.
The human realm must truly be a lively and happy place.
Certainly.
I'd like to visit one day, and when that time comes, I hope we can go together, Nia.
Sister, that's...
I was just kidding with you. I know, it's easier said than done.
Karia and I are both shocked at the conversation we heard. Rather, that term. Karia and I look at each other in disbelief. Anyway, if we heard them correctly, Venia just said, did you just say sister?
You?
Oh, sorry, we didn't mean to eavesdrop or anything like that. We were just caught off guard.
Never mind that. You can't eavesdrop at this distance. Besides, there's no reason to hide it. Now would be a great time to tell you about our relationship. Now, as Nia spilled for us just now, we're closely related. However, our relationship differs from the kinship defined in the human realm.
Sister. Sister. I cannot, because I'm just so used to finishing the sister. And everything's always sister. Every time a character calls you sister, it's fucking sinister, and I can't do it. As if to give in to Titania's casual remarks, Venia begins addressing her differently.
Basically, in the fairy realm, instead of reproduction, us fairies come into existence naturally. Simply put, we came into existence at the exact same place at the exact same time.
In other words, you're equating your relationship to siblings?
Right. Simply put, our relationship is self-proclaimed.
Because it's like, it'd be like you're twins, you know?
I see.
You both do give off a similar vibe and share some things in common, so I guess it makes sense. By the way, I have been a little curious. What is it? Oh, I know this sounds really rude, but Venia, which gender do you identify as? That's a little odd question. Venia's like, they? Address me as they. Personally, I feel bad for asking, but the best way to continue building relations is to be honest and open with them. So I had to be brave and ask. Then... Oh, is that all? And we fairies, as Sister just mentioned, don't need to reproduce. Hence, unlike other organisms, we do not distinguish between male and female. So I'm fine with whichever you prefer. I love the fact that, like, Titania's obviously like, I'm the queen, I'm like a girl, and Candace is like a dude, and Venia's like, I don't even give a fuck. I love Venia. I do. Venia's like, today you can call me he, tomorrow you can call me she, I might wear a pantsuit, I might wear a sexy dress, who knows. Oh, I need you in my life. Oh, interesting. In that case, judging from Venia's demeanor, I guess we'll consider him male. And probably safe to assume they're siblings. I mean, like, the first thing you see when you see Venia is like, it's beautiful boy! You're so precious, another beautiful man in the harem! And then he's like, they. Still think you're a beautiful man. That's just how you feel to me. But I'll call you they if you want to be called they. I'm okay with that too. I don't care. I still want to date Venia. After these exciting revelations, the tea party carries on. The conversation lands on the topic of the incident at Amasaki Island. Venia really is kind of the perfect man. would be like, some days I want to dress feminine and I might wear a pretty dress, and some days I'm going to actually dress masculine. Like, okay, you're okay with wearing a dress? Because men in dresses are hot. I'm sorry. Like, I got a weird thing for drag queens, okay? And Venia is like the top of the fucking ladder. Just look! Venia would rock it on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Unbelievable! A rift-shaped wormhole appeared in the sky, and that's when the violent attacks began? That must have been devastating!
Wormholes do occur in Medeo on rare occasions as well, but I have never heard of a case where such deadly entities appeared. I guess that wormhole is anything but ordinary, even from another world's perspective. Then,
how to phrase this? I'm glad that you were safe, but the number of casualties must be huge.
Well, although we have no connection to your world, I cannot help but express sympathy. For some reason, they both look sorry and depressed. Aww. Benny is so cold to us. Such a squishy, soft one on the inside. Huh? Casualties?
We're talking about humans here. Considering the scale of the incident, there must have been many casualties. I must apologize for bringing up such a painful topic.
She's so fucking adorable. I love her. Oh, could it be... Sorry, you two. I was only talking about the wormhole, so I made you confused. It is true that some were injured. Yeah, but there were no casualties, so rest assured. Huh? Their eyes opened wide in response to our words. What do you mean? The regulars met up with us and dealt with it. Phineas scowled at Karya's vague remarks. By regulars, you mean that demon lord, the fallen angel, the beast, the middle-aged man, and Canis? Right, everybody joined forces and dealt with the wormhole and the giant arm. You keep saying dealt with, but I don't think that means what you think. I know, but it's so hard to describe.
But it's true that according to Canis, they are quite talented people. Regardless, it's hard to believe the lack of casualties from this incident, right?
Usually that would be the case, but our regulars, including Canis, are top tier, according to Rindo. Also, it's hard to believe there's no casualties. Well, that's because the island is uninhabited. Nobody lives there. Oh, that makes more sense. Maybe start with that instead of trying to explain how almighty your guests are. They're like, but still no one died, because nobody lives on the island. Oh, you should have said that first, dumbass. Top tier? I guess it means that they're the strongest in their respective original worlds? You wouldn't think it just from looking at them in their normal state.
What a surprise! I've heard very little of them in passing, but you've piqued my interest. I'd like to hear more about them when we have more time.
After that, we kept talking about things that occurred on Amasaki Island. Time flew by. The greenery of Medeo surrounding the Nexus turned into autumn colors, and with that, Canis returned as he promised. I wonder what he goes off and does. He just goes off and cries in a corner. On the road back home, we share a tea party conversation with Canis. I see. You told them about Amasaki Island. I guess I never really told you about the details. I think I mentioned to you that there was a little commotion. Yeah, that's on you, Canis. You're right. And now that I think of it, there was nothing little about it. More like pretty big. I have a feeling that's an understatement. Oh, I know! Canis, I was going to tell you. I'm considering visiting Medeo more often. Is that okay? That is okay. Is something going on? Yeah. You know, Titania can't move from her throne, right? Even today, she expressed interest in knowing about the outside world. Well, knowing about the human world, or worlds outside of this one, so. I can't do very much, but I can talk to her about the human world. I think that would make Titania happy. She was laughing, but the loneliness I heard behind her voice is probably how she truly feels. In that case, as her friend, I want to do what I can for her. We're such a good little doobie, aren't we? Canis, in response to my proposal... I see. I am sure Titania would like that. Look, he's all happy because he's like, you take interest in my queen. Oh. I'll thank you in her stead, Spacey. Thank you for being her friend while her body and soul is bound to that place. His response is so kind and thoughtful. Yeah, I'm glad I met such a nice friend like Titania, too. She better not turn out to be like some evil backstabbing witch, is all I'm saying. A few days later, a typical day at Café Enchante. Familiar faces sat at their usual tables, engaging in casual chatter. I smile upon the peaceful scenery as I brew a fresh batch of coffee. And as I try to bring it over to Miser, who placed the additional order, the doorbell rings as someone walks through the gate. Oh, who could that be? I'm pretty sure all the customers from other realms have gathered here already. The other regulars looked as shocked as I was and stared toward the room with the gate. Is it Venia? Could it be Dromi? Then the reveal. Garia showed up. Is that? See, I knew Venia was going to show up at some point. Anyway. I realize how off my guess was as I look at the unexpected guest. It had to have been Venia because you know it's somebody from the fairy world and Titania can't come. Huh? What? Venia? Candace stood up and gasped at the arrival of our unexpected guest. I want to put Venia in, fucking human world clothes. I just want to say. Quite the commotion in here. I thought cafes were supposed to treat their guests with the utmost respect, but I haven't been greeted once yet. Well, welcome? It came out like a question, but I hope he'll ignore it. He takes a sip of the red tea that he ordered, rather emotionless. Everyone in the cafe was staring at the unusual presence of the first-time guest, but Venia seemed not to care at all and placed the cup on the table. Venia, now that you have finished your tea, please talk with us. Why did you decide to come to Enchante? Do you have any business with us? Nothing in particular. I'm visiting as a normal customer. Customer? Do you mean to say that this cafe chooses their customers? Oh no, it's not like that. I was under the impression that you were never interested in visiting Enchante, so... No, I do not. Not even a little bit. That much is true. But that is my personal opinion. Her Majesty, however, is quite the opposite. Titania? I feel like Venia would have made a better queen just because he's like, I don't really give a shit about anything but my fairy world. And Titania's like, oh, I want to go! And she'd be like... After nodding yes, Venia turns around and faces the regulars gathered in the cafe. Her Majesty has taken a strong interest in Enchante, as well as the regulars that frequent this place. Henceforth, I shall visit this cafe to gather information for Her Majesty, so that she may be pleased. Meaning... So in other words, you want to fraternize to gather interesting stories to tell. Does that sound about right? Does that mean you'll start coming to Enchante regularly, Venia? I was going to call him Vienna. Oh, Venia? Yes, though reluctantly. I'm willing to banter with a bunch of lousy clowns if it makes Her Majesty happy. Wow, he's such a bitch. Love it. Is this guy serious about socializing? Sounds like he's more like he's wanting to fight. I'm starting to get flashbacks of all those painfully ironic moments at Medio. It sounds like you have a new customer. That's more profit for Enchante, isn't it? Yeah, you're right. She's like, For me, personally, I want to provide Titania with interesting stories, too. And though I decided to visit Medio more frequently, I still have to run the cafe, so I can't visit every day. It'll be a good thing for Venia to bring home fun stories for her. Anyway, let us take the time for a meet and greet. Would you mind if I visit this cafe as a customer? No, not at all. This time I was able to reply without hesitation. We would love to have you. Thank you very much. In that case, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Aww. Apparently, Candace taught him how to pay the bill. After placing small crystals on the table, Venia shuffles into the other room and makes for the gate. That was surprising. Candace utters as he watches Venia walk through the gate. Venia never leaves the Queen's side under any circumstance, but... maybe that's how bad Titania wants to get to know everyone. I hope we can start getting along with Venia, too. Yes, by all means, do so. He has a touchy personality, but he is not a bad person. Besides, it would be unfair if we were the only ones to have friends. It would be great if Titania and Venia could become friends with someone like you. Ooh, wow, look at that. Titania, due to her body being directly connected to the world tree as the fairy queen, she cannot leave Medea or even her throne. She and Venia are siblings, having been created in the same place at the same time. She has a strong yearning for the outside world. Venia, he was created at the same time and place as Titania, and they could be considered siblings. When they interact this way, she calls him Nia, and Venia calls her big sister. He just called her sister, but whatever. Perfect place to end. All right, so we're going to wrap this part up here. Ooh, we're probably going to be Venia telling Titania all about our trip. So, anyway, we'll figure that out in the next part. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.